Welcome to the Champion Secrets podcast, where I interview high level entrepreneurs, high level athletes, and people who I consider champions so that we can all become champions ourselves. So, today is a solo episode. I will be doing these here and there, not super often, but I did have um, kind of wanted to have some time to just sit down and share kind of the vision. We've had 3 episodes so far. ABA, my buddy, handballer, incredible human being, incredible athlete. Really cool to see what he's up to and what he's doing moving forward to the Olympics and moving forward in his incredible year that he's got ahead. Second episode was with my buddy Josh Forty, and what an incredible entrepreneur, what an incredible man of God who's continuing to pursue the Lord and really doing some cool stuff in the entrepreneurship space. And yeah, he's just an awesome human being as well. And then third, I had Phil Dahlhauser, who is just obviously one of the best athletes to play beach volleyball ever. And we sat down and talked about some really neat stuff as well. His story, some of the stuff he went through after winning gold, and a lot of other stuff. So if you guys haven't checked those out, be sure to check those out. Today, I'm just going to sit down and basically share kind of my vision and where this kind of whole idea of championship secrets or champion secrets really came to be. And so with that, my name is Christian Honer, and I have probably for the last 10 or so years have been on this journey of becoming my best self mentally, spiritually, physically, financially. And so this idea with Champion Secrets has, it's like anything else, my idea of this started probably about 6 years ago. I had this thought of interviewing high level human beings, high level coaches, people who are doing some amazing things in the world, high level athletes, high level entrepreneurs who are champions and people who are doing some amazing things and talk about the realness of it because we're all human beings. These champions are all human beings, and we're all human beings that are just trying to become our best self. So I was really just in this place of like, man, I really would love to just sit down with these incredible human beings and chat about what it looks like to be a champion in their eyes and what their story's like and kind of the struggles and the faith aspect of it, the mind, body, spirit aspect of it, the finances aspect of it. And so with that being said, I have been on this journey of, I guess I'll go into each of the sectors that I'm kind of talking about. Mindset wise is something that since I was a child playing baseball at, you know, 7 to 12 years old, and then playing club ball after that, my coaches constantly were telling me, Christian, if you want to be a good athlete, and my thought as a kid was like, I want to be a professional baseball player. That was my thing. I was a young kid, homeschooled, and just like I want to become a professional baseball player. And I would tell my coaches that. And all of my coaches would then say, Christian, I get it. You've got the skills, you've got the physicality, you can do it. Even though I was a very skinny kid at the time, I appreciate the encouragement. I was told that mindset is the key. And all these coaches that I had were telling me Christian mindset. And so I understood that mindset was the key. But what I didn't understand is what to actually do to improve my mindset. And so as a child, I heard mindset is important, mindset is key, but I never actually knew the tools and the things that would actually, and the strategies and the techniques and the tips that would actually get me anywhere in the mindset realm. So as I kind of started pursuing my goal of playing beach volleyball, a decade later, I guess a little less than a decade later, when I started playing beach volleyball when I was 17 years old, for the first couple of years, I, was just this volleyball player and I really didn't put any time and effort and energy outside of it. And so my mindset wasn't really there up until I think there's a couple videos that I watched from like Michael Phelps and a couple other high level athletes after like a year of volleyball and just seeing people that were maybe on the front end not looking like they should be beating other guys that I'm watching. And I'm just like, man, like, what are these guys doing differently? And so that was probably, I'll probably say when I was about 20, 21, when I truly was really understanding that mindset is important and knowing the actual strategies to use and to things to do. So I hired a hypnotherapist coach, a mindset coach, and I went all in mindset and I figured out, breathing, how important that is, focus and awareness, process over outcome, strategies to reprogram the language, how I'm speaking to myself, learning how to have certain triggers in certain situations where I felt like my performance was, we're at 18, 17 and I couldn't close it out. And finding those tools that would help me bring myself back to the present moment and and basically release and refocus into the next play. And so I learned discipline, self-control, routines, how to actually prepare and like meditation, things before tournaments and games. And I was just on this road of exploration when it came to the mind and the mindset and the mental performance side of things. And so for the last, since I was 20, I'm 28 now, I've been on this journey I became a mental performance coach myself, got certified in that. I have a couple clients that I work with, and it's been one of the most fulfilling things for me to do, to be able to help pour back in that way for all that time and effort and energy I've spent. Obviously, spent a ton of money and time, effort, energy, books, things like that to improve my mindset. And it's something that is never ending. And I'm always learning. I'm even learning from my clients and learning from my kiddo. I'm learning from so many different things. And so, mindset has been something that really has intrigued me. And we say it's talked around a lot, but nobody really knows the techniques and strategies to actually improve those areas. So that's been really, really fun journey for me. And I love to just talk to athletes and high performance and entrepreneurs about the mindset, because there are so many key aspects to mindset and so many things in the mindset realm that can really help if you are actually willing to do the work and take the time to do it. And if you're actually willing to hire someone and have someone walk you through it. So the mindset pillar one that we kind of talk about with a lot of these athletes and entrepreneurs is something I'm just really intrigued in, and I will constantly be intrigued, and I'm always trying to learn from high level athletes and entrepreneurs that we have on here, and always hiring more people and having more coaches and people in my corner to actually help me. So that's a little bit about my mindset journey specifically, and kind of why the mindset stuff really intrigues me, and it's stuff I want to talk about. So moving forward, I will do here and there some solo episodes, and I can dive deeper into some of that stuff and share more with that. But I wanted to kind of go through all of them. So we're going to kind of dive into the next one, which is kind of body. And that's kind of like the physical aspect of performing at a high level. And physically, my journey has been full of ups and downs, just like the mindset one, and just like all of these pillars, and it's never ending. But I remember when I was about 18 years old, and I'm 28 now, and I remember my body breaking down. And I remember growing up and never warming up, never stretching, just kind of being that kid that's just like in my baseball, basketball, other sport days, and remembering just not caring about any of that stuff and not taking the time for any of that stuff, and knowing that a lot of my coaches weren't really instilling these values and instilling these routines, um, mindset wise, obviously, as well, because I spoke about that. But physically, like, I just wasn't taught or told how important taking care of your body is and taking care of your mind is. And so I remember when I kind of a couple years after I started my volleyball journey, started playing at 17. When I was about 18, I remember my shoulders starting hurting, my knees started hurting, and I was just like, man, like I'm 18 years old. Like my body shouldn't be breaking down now. But in reality, it was just because I wasn't really taking care of myself in the way that I should be as an athlete. And so I remember being on that journey physically and trying to navigate that. And I kind of did the same thing. I feel like I learned the importance a lot later than I did of the mindset. And so I dove right in. I hired my buddy, Brandon, and I had him kind of create some workouts for me. And I got a physical therapist who sponsored me at the time that helped me kind of learn about prehab and rehab and taking care of myself and stretching and foam rolling and tissue work and fascial work and all these things, and really just starting to lift rather than just being this gangly volleyball player that is starting to experience this pain that I never knew was existent because I never experienced it. And so I, I hired my coach and I started going all in on the physicality, and I started diving into books. I started buying courses, started buying coaching, YouTube videos, all the above, just to be like, all right, like, how am I gonna take care of this body that God's given me and mind, obviously, that would help me play at a higher level and become a better athlete. And so physically, I I've been on this journey of trying to not only stay healthy, but also stay as strong as I can. I've always thought, like, if I can stay as light and as strong as I can be and stay healthy, that was my goal. So since then, luckily, I really haven't had any injuries other than with jujitsu because I've really been super diligent about the prehab and taking care of myself so that I wouldn't have to have the rehab. And so the physical piece of it has been a fun journey. And I remember when I was starting to get to the point of actually like deadlifting like 400 pounds and things like that. And yeah, it's just been a fun journey physically. I picked up jujitsu a couple years ago with an incredible human being coaching me, the professor Jonathan Alvarez, and that's been an incredible physical journey for me to take it to a whole nother level. And the suffering, the extensive physical work with that has been so fun. And I have a couple other buddies, my buddy Alex, we do some crazy physical workouts that it's kind of some soccer stuff here and there. It's football stuff, and we're like looking things up, and so I've always been on this physical journey. I'm doing handstands as much as possible. I'm doing animal flow. I'm doing all those things that really help me turn the knob on my physical aspect of things. And so the physical piece has been really fun. I'm super thankful that and that my body's held up, but I think something as of recent and even earlier, the sitting, the office job stuff, things like that. Thank goodness I have a treadmill desk now, but I'm in Wisconsin now, so I don't really have the treadmill desk available now, stand-up desk, but the posture and the things that are actually going to make a difference long term is something I truly try to invest in every day. A little bit of movement, a little bit of physicality, just because pouring into that bucket is important as well to be the best husband, to be the best father, to be the best human, to be the best athlete. I got to take care of this one body that I've been given. So the physical aspect has been a journey, just like any other. And so that brings us to the spiritual realm. And so my spiritual journey has kind of been growing up, I grew up in a Christian church. I grew up in a Christian home. Obviously, my name's Christian, so hello. But that wasn't the reason because my dad wasn't a Christian when he thought of that name. But I kind of was just in this place of taking whatever I was given from my parents, from the church that I was going into and or going to. And so growing up was a place where I just didn't really have my own faith. I feel like so many people just kind of grab onto their parents' faith or their friends' faith or things like that. And so growing up, my spiritual journey was truly, I now looking back, didn't feel like it was my own. And growing up, I went to Young Life, I went to a lot of church camps, things like that. And kind of once I hit, you know, the mid high school range where I thought I was the man. I thought I was on top of the world. I thought I could do everything on my own. I kind of fell away from my spiritual realm and my faith. And that was just a place of where I was just so selfish and I was just doing everything for me. And I was just so caught up in myself and so caught up in what I wanted to do. And it was It was, I guess, a part of my faith journey. I guess looking back, I'm like, there's a lot of shame and guilt. It's just like, what the heck was I thinking? But the Lord's faithful. And after that was probably when I was starting to pursue volleyball and moving to California and like probably 17 to 20. I kind of was just like doing my own thing, drinking, partying, pornography, like just doing stuff that is not good for your spiritual life. And so yeah, I started to dive into other things. I started to dive into Buddhism, the self-love thing, and like, oh man, if I just love myself and I love others and all these things, and it was so far from the truth that I know. And so it was, but at that time, I thought it was the truth because I think I had some church hurt and some just from, like seeing people that I looked up to fail and seeing people that I looked up to doing certain things. And I'm just like, man, like, are they really living the life that they portray that they are? And just kind of feeling like it wasn't what I thought it was supposed to be at this 17, 20-year-old range where I feel like I know everything. And so I fell flat on my face, around 20, 21, and I went through a just spiritual darkness because I feel like the devil just kind of got a hold of me for those couple years and pulled me away from the faith. And it was obviously my own doing, but it was a place that I would never wish anyone to go to. And I just felt like I was so caught up in the world. I was so caught up in my flesh. I was so caught up in, I mean, the devil was attacking me constantly and I just wasn't aware of it. I was just, I mean, I've always been a sinner, but I was in a place where it was a constant thing and I wasn't even aware of it. And I remember just breaking down and just being like, wow, like how far have I gone from this faith, from this Jesus that I once knew? And now diving into these other things that I know aren't true, but being caught up in it. And so at that time where I kind of just broke down and I started really starting to, I guess, get back in that infancy stage of being a believer and starting to kind of get back in the word a little bit, getting back in the word, kind of being that lukewarm Christian and kind of getting into my faith here and there. And yeah, it was kind of, I would say like 21, I feel like I found like my faith a little bit again, but I know I was nowhere near a disciple of Christ. And my journey with that, and just like anything else I've been talking about, the highs and lows of it, I was sitting in this lukewarm place for a couple years. And then I started dating a gal who's now my wife. And I would say at that point, we were pursuing the Lord pretty well because we also had each other to push each other in things. So well, we were in and out. We weren't all in, I would say at that point. Me personally, and speak for myself. And it took until a hard life change for me where we departed from one another and I felt like I had nothing left and I felt like I know I needed a savior and I remember crying out to the Lord each and every day, Psalm 51, and just in tears, just like, God, like renew my heart. Like I've been so broken for so long and I just need to come back to you. And you're the only one that can truly be and give me peace and be the peace that I need. And so I remember that being like a year and a half, 2 year journey of just, well, probably like a year of just like church and men's group and counseling and therapy and just like a sex addiction coach for from a Christian church that I went to and just like because I'm one of those people that go all in obviously as I've talked about with the mindset and the physicality piece of it, but with the spiritual piece of it I was just like so broken. I just needed a savior and there's no better place to be than that because he can meet us where we're at in that place. And so my journey at that point was filled with just feeling broken and feeling like I need a savior, which is a great place to be. And through that journey, I feel like I've really found my relationship with the Lord. And actually, now I'm actually at this discipleship training, which I'm really, really excited about. And just constantly trying to become more like Jesus and figure out what it looks like to be a New Testament Christian and someone that is obeying the commandments, someone that is making more disciples. And it's a journey. I know my Heavenly Father uh, loves me so very much. I know that He sent His Son to take away the sin of the world, that for me, I deserve the worst. And I'm so thankful that He did that. And I'm so thankful that He's always there. And yeah, so just like all these other ones, it's a never-ending journey. I'll never arrive in any of these areas. And that's why we're here. Champion Secrets Podcast. We're here to try to become our best selves and in each area and taking it one day at a time. So so the spiritual aspect, I'm excited to continue my walk with the Lord and excited to talk about that with more of my guests here on Champion Secrets Podcast. So with that being said, that will lead us to the last pillar, which is finances. And that has been a really hard one for me personally. I grew up kind of with this worry of money and this worry and this lack of and this scarcity place. And I feel like, yeah, we can all find ourselves there at any point as well. But I remember when I was like 12 years old, I was just like, how can a 13-year-old make money online? And I was homeschooled, so I would just finish my school and I would dive in and try to figure out how to make money. And I would, I started this get paid to site, and it's basically to get paid to do surveys. And so I would post these posts that I would create. I would post them on Craigslist, stay-at-home moms, you want to make money, da 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 da. I would get paid $1 per sign up. And so I remember my first check being like $80, and my next check was like $100. I was 13 at the time. My next check was like $1,000. Next check was like $1,500. I would love to find those pictures. I know I took some pictures because I was just like fired up. I was like, ah. And through that journey, I learned kind of how to make money, and I learned a lot of really cool skills like building websites, like SEO, like digital marketing. And that was when it all kind of was coming out. Mobile websites. I remember going door to door trying to sell mobile websites to like dentists and stuff. And I just remember kind of, yeah, just not having the best relationship with money at that time, and just wanting and desiring and desiring. And yeah, it was cool to make money when I was a kid, and throughout my life with that, I learned some incredible skills. And I know that the money piece is really hard for a lot of believers, and it has been for me. It's been a journey of highs and lows, just like everything else here on the Champion Secrets podcast. And I remember going through a really hard time financially, like when I was like in high school, when I was starting to pursue volleyball, moved out to California, sold like my camera, my this, my that, sold whatever it took to get a couple grand so I can go out to California. And I remember just like Uber eating in between practices. I remember like just struggling in that way as an athlete because man, it is hard to make a living while you're trying to be a professional athlete. Like there's not many journeys like that. And one of these next podcasts, I can talk kind of a little bit more deeper on all these subjects. And feel free to let me know if there's anything specific that you want me to dive into more, but kind of just, yeah, the difficulty of it at that time and trying to be an athlete and trying to make money and trying to balance it all is not easy. And so I remember this summer, or was it after summer? I think it was beginning, or maybe it was like end of 2016, something like that. Well, years before that, I was obviously continuing my journey from being 13 to learning, websites, digital marketing, all those things. And I found an ad on Craigslist. And my buddy Josh Gaiman, he will be on my podcast here soon as well. Incredible real estate guru, incredible family man, incredible. He's a follower of Christ, and we met each other, and I remember we did our first launch, and I think we made like 14 grand, and it was like a couple weeks in, and I was just like, man, like this could actually be something, and it could be something that I could provide for my family with, and it could be something that I could provide for my athletic career with, and probably more of that. And probably wasn't the family at that time. I'm talking as in current, probably now. But yeah, my mind was blown as far as being able to do that in one night. And a couple months later, or like a month later, we did like 25, and then we did like 50, and then we did like 70, and then we did $100,000. And you could actually see this video on my YouTube channel. I still have the video. It's me, and I'm just kind of going through the back end, being like, "Oh, this is what we did." And we were in Park City at the time, and we sold with one of my clients. We sold a very high ticket course, and we did 100 grand that night, like I said. And in the video, you can see me and my buddy. I'm like, "Oh, we did it!" Da, 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 da." And so I think at that point, I just started to realize the possibilities of with my clients to be able to truly make a lot of dough and also to make a difference in our clients' lives. And so that was quite the journey. And I was like, okay, like there's something to this, and like I can I can pursue volleyball through this. Like this is going to be my ticket, like digital marketing. Wow. And so I realized, man, this is a hard journey as an athlete. And so being able to make money out of thin air and being able to create marketing campaigns with my clients that produce income, like, wow, how cool is that? And I remember reading Think and Grow Rich that year. I remember reading The Science of Getting Rich. I remember reading like all these different things. And yeah, what an experience that was. And now I'm able to actually help more clients and help more athletes make money from their knowledge and their skills. And it's been a fun journey. And so I had a client that I worked with last year. We did another $100,000 night, and it's just wild in this day and age what you're capable of doing with the internet. Like growing up being 13, making a couple grand in like in a month, and then going to a point to where me and the owner twice, several times have well, twice for sure, did over $100,000 in one night, and plenty of other product launches and stuff that has done hefty numbers. And so yeah, I remember my journey as an athlete just being in a constant struggle with money. And luckily, the Lord kind of brought me to this digital marketing space to where I can really help people in that way. So, yeah, that's been a really fun journey as well on the money aspect. And so, yeah, those are the four pillars. I kind of wanted to dive into a little bit of my journey in each of the pillars and that we talk about when I interview other incredible athletes, entrepreneurs, elite high performers, coaches, people who are just doing some incredible things in the world. And so I just wanted to kind of share my journey with those things a little bit with you guys in this first solo pod, episode 4. And yeah, I'm just really excited. Next week, I've got several interviews coming up. I'm really excited for. I've got 6, I believe, next week, which is a lot. And I'm really, really excited to bring these stories and these champion stories and their struggles and their faith and their spiritual lives, their financial lives, their mindset lives, and their physical lives. And so we can all learn and become champions in our own way, like whether you're a mom that works at a gas station, like and you're committed to that and that's what you want to do, or you're well, not a mom working at a gas station, I guess a mom at home and that's your thing. You want to be a champion at that and be the best you can at that. Be that. And hopefully these conversations, these interviews you can gather something from. Or whether you're a dude and you work at the gas station and you love it because you see the same people over and over and you love pouring into them and you love what you do there. And yeah, or whether you're an athlete and you're trying to become your best self and you want these tips and strategies in all these areas and pillars, like let's go. Let's fire it up. Like or you're an entrepreneur and you're just trying to become your best self and athletes and entrepreneurship collides pretty well. And so I'm just excited to sit down and chat with these incredible champions and learn more about their stories and share it with the world. So I wanted to thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for listening to a little bit of my story with some of these areas. I wanted to kind of keep it short and sweet. I've got to get to the discipleship training starts in about 11 minutes. So praise the Lord. I'm excited to see what the Lord does in this place here in Wisconsin. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys have the best start to your week. And I think this will drop Monday. So hope you guys have a great start to your week. And thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for being here. And these will be dropping Monday, Thursday. And if there's an interim where I don't have interviews, I will be dropping a solo episode and they will just continue to kind of be along the same lines of becoming a champion and my journey of trying to become my best self and becoming a champion as a father, a champion as a husband, a champion as a provider, a champion as a coach, a champion as everything that I am each and every day. So I hope you guys are all along that same journey. And I wanted to leave you guys with a quote from Mr. John Wooden. I don't want to butcher it, so I'm going to pull it up. And it's my favorite quote, and I've said it a lot, and I'm sure you guys have heard it from me, if not from me, probably on my story or something. Success is peace of mind, which is a direct result of self satisfaction and knowing you did your best to become the best you're capable of becoming. Appreciate y'all being here. Take care. God bless. Talk to you soon.